there?
Mine tweets automatically. It should, at least.
Moment of truth.
Say starting.
Okay.
Now it says live, yeah. So we're live.
Oh, we are live officially.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So let's just get rolling here. 3, 2, 1. This is Living Room Clutter, episode 1, recorded May 21st, 2015. I'm David Moore, joined by...
I'm Sid. I'm joining David, a big rock band enthusiast and guitar hero enthusiast like himself.
This is the Rock Band Rhythm Gaming Podcast. I say rhythm gaming because we have to include Guitar Hero. We're just struck with it, Sid.
Yeah, and you know what? There's probably a core audience of people who are either going to play one or the other. So it's I don't think there's going to be that many people who play both. So at least there'll be something that caters to everybody.
Right. So you and I are rock band enthusiasts, as you said.
Welcome to the official, currently as it stands, but if you see us return, don't be surprised. Living Room Clutter, episode 100. The end of the Adventure to Rock Band 4. I'm David Moore. You already heard that. You heard the awkward conversations of me and Sid Masand as we started this journey back in May of 2015. And Sid Masand, we don't know where he's at, but we still got my best friends in the rhythm gaming community, Josh, JC Lexicon. How is it going, my friend?
It's going great. To quote somebody a lot more talented than me, this is the end, my beautiful friends.
Joining us also, Keith K-Doll08.
I got that fresh sheen for the last show. I thought about putting on like a tuxedo, like. But I just
a nice shirt. I got a collar. This might be the only time I wear a collar during this show. This is 100, guys. We made it to 100. When we started this show, no one said we could even do 10 episodes about Rock Band. They were wrong. They were very wrong. And to be honest, this wouldn't be ending. I love our audience. They've kept us here this long, but this wouldn't be ending if Rock Band 4 had been, widely enjoyed by its community a little bit more instead of a wild burn to the ground. Not that, it's mostly there, but it took too long to get where we're at, and it's not what it is. We got a lot of news for our final week, which is surprising. I mean, this is part of the reason this ended. So I'm going to let us go into news. We'll talk about memories of this show. I'm very curious to talk to both of you guys about this because I know that you have made this show exist as long as it has, and I love you guys for this.
Oh, stop.
But the truth is you both started out as listeners. So it's going to be very fun to talk to you guys about this as we wrap it
how
up.
much do I remember is the question.
We need you on stage right now.
Right now. And that was perfect. That's a keeper.
It's the only thing that people ever liked me for. So
it's like how I imagine David Draymond from Disturbed feels sometimes. It's just like, do the voice. Do the voice.
All right, guys. So Josh, let's talk about this big harmonics thing. Let's skip Rocksmith.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that later because we've got some bigger fish to fry.
All right.
So, anybody still play Rivals? First of all,
no.
No.
I played like 10 songs last week because I went in there to go play Champagne Supernova, of course.
Of course.
And then I played a handful of other things that were available and whatnot. So I played about 10 songs, but it's not like I'm regularly playing it.
Okay, well, basically, yesterday, Harmonix put out a gigantic blog post, forum post on the subreddit. They're making some changes to how Rivals is going to work, and the main one is Rivals seasons. So, your Call of Duties, your Rocket Leagues, your Overwatches that have seasons, welcome to the club. So what's going to happen is basically all the Rivals mode challenges from now up until a week before this patch is coming out. This is part of the next major update, which I think it's coming in May or June. I think they said June. I could be wrong. But what happens is it sort of takes your crew's overall rank from each season, and you can get like gear and rock shop rewards for it. But the important thing to remember is from this point on, once this patch comes out, no more demotions. Once you get to a certain rank during the season, you stay there, which I think is probably the selling point for most people, because I can attest it sucks to be trying to get to Bloodstone and then just like not hitting a bad challenge, and then you got to make up for it another week.
So
and they go 8 weeks.
Let's start with this. Let's start with the fact that they're doing this. One, seasons is proof to me that they're not really going to try to support this game much longer, right? That's, to me, it's confirmation. It gives them maybe it gives a team a little bit more time to focus on changing, things that are wrong with this game. But it also means a little bit less work over time. Also, the fact that once you get to a rank, so what happens when you hit Bloodstone? You're done?
Well, you stay there for that week. It's not like a week-to-week thing where you go down again. It's you stay there, and you have to, I guess, try and stay there for the duration of the season, which those last for 8 weeks. The main reason why they're letting us know about this now is because it's going to involve a lot of leaderboard maintenance. And you know what that means? Another question of how much of the leaderboard's going to be wiped, because they're considering 3 options: do nothing, wipe a little bit, or wipe a lot. And so there is some heavy discussion going on in the forums and the subreddit and amongst crews. And also coming in the next update, tying into this, they're going to be fixing a few exploits related to how calibration affects sustains for guitar and bass, and how calibration affects the timing of when drum fills appear, as well as the whole pause rollback thing, which extends vocal overdrive. So they're really trying to crack down on the scoring exploits now.
Let's talk about a leaderboard wipe for just a second.
I mean, they've already done 2. What's another one, right?
Yeah, at this point, guys, let me break something down for you guys. As long as they continue supporting Rock Band 4, and they continue to have exploits, and they continue to not, address them properly between updates, and new exploits appear when they do new updates, with
and that's always a possibility to consider. That's right. What I want everybody to take away from this. Sure, they could manage to finally fix some of the stuff that's been there since this game came out, but there's always a possibility there might be 1 or 2 new problems that take them just as long to fix.
Right. So what? We're going to wipe the leaderboard again then? We're going to wipe the leaderboard again after that? Look, competing on the leaderboards at this point in Rock Band 4, let's be honest, is completely pointless. There's no reason to score 2. You can't possibly get these scores that are this high, they said this in the post, without using the exploit, right? So you can't be on the top of the leaderboards. There's a chance that your leaderboard is most likely going to be wiped. So why are you interested in being on it? Because you're just going to get removed off of it anyway. Look, at this point, Harmonix, if you wipe the leaderboards, who cares? That's my opinion, because at this point, no one is chasing leaderboard scores. Not even the hardest of hardcore of this community. And I talk to these people. Look, that's why half of this community has fallen off. It is more impressive to me to go back to Rock Band 3, get a score that's notable, and hold that score for longer than it is to get a score in Rock Band 4. I'm sorry, but that's the truth, guys. Everybody's looking at me like...
Here's where I stand on this. In terms of the options, because, like, me personally, I don't play Rivals anymore, so I don't really care that much about which option they go with. However, taking into account, I do still hang out with people on crews and in the community. I honestly think the idea of them just targeting the very top of the leaderboards for these songs and just basically lowering the scores as opposed to straight up wiping them, at least it gives more people a chance and it doesn't punish everybody.
Yeah.
The idea is it would affect a smaller number of players, and all scores other than the very highest will be unchanged. So that to me sounds like they're going to try and make that sounds the most fair option to me. I could be wrong on that, but I've been playing mostly vocals, and once the paths are up on Score Hero, and if they get changed or whatever, it's not terribly difficult to go through and sing a song again and try and get a first place.
Oh, it's difficult. It's not easy
It
to get
is.
first place. Okay.
Oh no, it's not. But you can't
that's-
patch vibrato. You can't patch people doing vibrato.
No, that's true. But speaking of someone that used to have a few first places, it is definitely not easy. And even songs that you think, oh, that's not coming out anytime soon, you go back a little bit later, and all of a sudden, there's
I've had that
10
happen.
people in
Yeah.
front of you. I remember at one point I was number one in the world on what's that song on Rock Band 3? Lasso.
Lasso. Yeah.
Yeah, I was number one on that, and I was surprised. And I figured that's an on-disc song that's going to have a lot of people that have done it. And I was genuinely surprised when I was number one. And it was not like the day the game came out or anything. It was much later. And now I'm way down the list.
That's how good the community is.
Look. Here's what you have to do, Harmonix, to make this worth it. You need to go find out which scores were using exploits, and I think that might be impossible.
Well, I'm sure they have some sort of software they can use to figure it out. Like they have some sort of algorithm.
Yeah, I mean, so what's the algorithm for the actual most possible high score, right? But you can't because if you're cheating, it's just like having a perfect score, right? Like it's such a hard problem. And if you were to wipe just the top of the leaderboard, right? What if those people earn those scores legitimately? That's going to hurt them. There's no
situation where somebody doesn't get hurt in this, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, except ignoring it, except then the entire community suffers forever. So, because we'll never, some of those scores are impossible to reach without an exploit, ruining the game. Harmonix, I'm sorry, but this is getting to a point that's unacceptable. People spent the first weeks chasing down gold stars. Sid on this show, man, talked about this and how he was so proud of his things. And the first time you wiped the leaderboards, you upset us. The second time you wiped the leaderboards, we stopped caring. So what's the third time going to do? Is there anybody who still cares about leaderboard scores? I'm sure there are. But I bet you honestly there's more people who like using the exploits to get the impossible unfair scores. I bet you that community is larger than the people who try to get it legitimately at this point. I would bet you anything. Sad but true.
No, it's just
Metallica.
Did that rant go wasted?
It's not a big community. There are people that love to cheat to get scores. There are people that are in it because they love the music. There are people that are in it because they love the chase of the high score. There are all kinds of people. You still see a lot of the same people, at least for the boards that I do, up on every song. There's a guy, Josh something or another, that's always really high. Bill TV is always really high. Not you, Josh. We're talking singing. Calm it down.
Oh no,
I'm smiling.
No, but you're on Xbox. I'm not on Xbox,
true.
or at least not on the one. So, but there's another thing. A lot of the people that were really active, I guess, in terms of the old Rock Band community that started playing Rock Band 4, I think by the beginning of last year they stopped playing. So I think that's why it's gotten easier to beat some of those people, because they just haven't been as active and the paths have evolved with time.
Yeah. It's a hard turn to make, guys. I don't have a solution for mine.
Heaven knows what else they can do from here.
I wish, this is a crazy idea, Harmonix. In the next patch, I don't even know if this is possible, but if you could track everything, right?
Oh, I'm sure they already do. They just don't share it with us.
But the question is can they track everything to see which people are exploiting?
Well, even if they could, you wouldn't know, and they could
Harmonix,
never say.
Niantic Labs can't even do this for Pokemon Go, right? That's why there's people who cheat and walk around in China and catch things. And every so often they can do a wave of bans, or they can deal with reporting. And maybe we could report people, but even then we don't know.
How's the Johto update going, by the way?
Love the Johto update. Anyway, but the point, I'm at 70 of the Johto. I have a gold badge for 70 of the.
But are most people still playing this far in? No. because
Pokemon
once
Go
the thrill of catching a bunch of Pokemon on your phone wore off, people moved on to something else. And that's why Rock Band has a bit more staying power than a mobile game, because people don't just want to go somewhere else if something isn't working. They want to try and fix it.
That's an important point, right? I want Rock Band to be a longing, standing thing. I played Rock Band 3 until the day that Rock Band 4 came out.
And even afterwards, in my case.
Yeah, well, yeah, we all did. I think we're at a really interesting dilemma. I don't know how many did they ever wipe the leaderboards for the previous Rock Bands?
Not that I can remember, at least recently.
Of course not recently.
Before Rock Band 4 is announced. I should actually look that up.
I am sure there's an exploit within Rock Band 3 that people have utilized.
There are several.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure it's still there. And guess what? At this point, we turned away. It's fine. This is a thing we accept. It's a part of this game. If you can surpass those exploit scores, good for you. But if you can't, you know how good you are. It's a matter of your accomplishment, not about the people who are cheating.
So far on Google, it looks like the only articles I'm seeing are related to the Rock Band 4 wipes. So no.
Yeah.
And you know what? We've dealt with worse. The whole XMB crash on PS3 for Rock Band 3. Yeah. We had to deal with that, and that never got fixed. And that wasn't even just something affecting scoring. That was something affecting consistently being able to play the game.
At this point, Harmonix, I think we need to look at it as a way of saying there are bigger things that are wrong with this game that need to be fixed, things that need to be addressed. There are exploits. It'd be nice to fix those. But until we feel like we've got kind of a lockdown solid thing, I don't think wiping the leaderboards at this point matters. That's what I would say. I would say wait and see what happens. I think if you're going to do seasons, I feel like there's going to be more time to not have to set up a weekly challenge. I think we're going
I just had a funny thought. Could you imagine after each time you play with somebody either locally or online, it's like play of the game, and it just shows somebody on a certain instrument, and it just shows like their point of view, their vocal chart. It's like with Overwatch. They have the plays of the game and every other game. We're not that far off from that happening, if you really think about it.
I saw people who liked Rock Band VR. I don't know what that's about. So
it's a thing. It's actually sold out in most places. So I don't know if that's either it's sold fairly good or just Amazon and a bunch of other places didn't get a ton of stock of it.
Yep.
It could be both.
Probably both. Let's be honest.
So yeah, that update. Okay. We'll have to see what happens, but obviously keep an eye out in the usual places, and yeah, maybe E3 will give us more of an idea of what the rest of the year is going to look like, because it looks like that 10th anniversary is lurching up slower and slower by the month.
I'm going to say one more thing about this update that they're doing. They're finally adding rewards for being in higher tiers of rivals.
Yes.
This took way too long. Who cares?
Well, the idea is, I guess, depending on what rank you finish in for the season, the sort of effect, it's like you get more stuff included with it. With a reward, I guess it's enhanced a little bit. Like if you were to finish in gold, you get one thing, and it'd be added to it if you do platinum, and so on and so forth.
They never fixed character customization in this game ever. They had no rewards for the last whatever we've been playing Rivals for.
Because I guess for them, they figure it's easier to just bundle in bonus items in the Rock Shop with updates as opposed to have to try and revamp an entire system that they had to, I guess, rebuild from. I'm not trying to defend it. I'm just saying.
Oh, no, I know. No point in defending. I know you're not trying to defend it. What I'm saying is, at this point, they've gone too far, and it's too late. That's not an enticing.
It's not too late. It's never too late. So I had to get that one out.
Fix character creator first, guys. We talked about this on the first time we got Rock Band 4.
How far we've come.
Like episode 40 or something of this show.
Oh my god.
So
speaking of episode 40, that should be called episode 40 BK, because episode 41
we got BK and AK
was when Keith joined the episodes. I had to go back and look it up just so I could remember. I
that was a
wanted to be. I
great
couldn't
day.
remember if I was here for more than half or not. It doesn't seem like it was. It was apparently March 10th, so I felt like more than a year.
Yeah,
like
it might have been.
really not 13 months. And so
How did you find that out of curiosity?
I forget where I first. I think where I first found the show, and I don't remember how long after launch or whatever it was. I'm pretty sure I got it from Rock Band Aid after Oscar or whatever was on.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he talked about it, and so then I found the link and listened to some, and I don't remember how long I was listening before you guys mentioned something one time about maybe having a listener or two on the show to get another person on there, and then the next week.
Little did I know I was going to save the show by doing that.
Yeah, and yeah, like the next week I sent a Twitter message I think to you and said hey, you guys mentioned something about having people on, how would I do that? What do you need from me? How would I even get onto the show? Didn't know anything about Hangouts back then or anything like that. And sent a message to the few of you guys, and that first week you can hear it just when you listen to the audio quality, because that first week that I was on, I was using a Xbox One controller that was wirelessly connected to the computer via the Xbox controller wireless adapter with a headphone. I think it was actually my Xbox One just headset, the one ear microphone type deal. And you can hear it in the hollowness of my voice compared to now that I have a decent, $30 headset or whatever that actually plugs directly in via USB and everything. But yeah, so episode 41 I came on, and that was not too long before the interview with Josh at Harmonix. It was
because I
handful of episodes, yeah.
I remember feeling really bad when I said I have to control this with minimal amounts of people to have an interview with Harmonix.
Yeah, apparently that was 44.
Right. Wow. Okay, that explains it. Josh,
No, that was right after I joined, because I think I joined at the end of March last year.
You came at roughly the same time. I feel like you guys appeared together, but maybe I'm wrong.
The first episode, no. I don't know about maybe the second or third, because I remember
shortly after I joined that we were both on. Yeah.
There was a couple episodes towards the beginning there was one where we had 6 people on or something.
Yeah.
Yep, that was with PNG.
It was this is just too much. This does not work. We already talk over each other sometimes as it is with 3 or 4 of us on the show. With 6 of us, it was shut up. Give me a mute button. Shut up.
I'm glad that trend went away.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, and I thought it was fun for the time being. I think it was fun to open the floodgates a little bit, and basically, I just tweeted out the public link to let everybody in who wanted to be. And I think from that, we got some really fun moments, and I think we got some really interesting people from the community, and that was important. But
that first time I was on, I don't remember how, because I feel like you didn't tweet it live. You did something else, or I don't know. And then we got some weird people on that night on accident.
I remember the guy that came in and cursed out PNG.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, the good old times. When we were still excited about Rap Band 4.
Well, I was thinking,
it's weird because.
Go ahead, Josh.
No, just because I came on the whole interview with Harmonix, and either the podcast getting featured on Rock Band Aid was our peak moment, or getting the interview with Harmonix, and then basically completely getting the shaft on most of anything else community related, if you really think about it. Well, I wouldn't say fully, but it's most developers will be willing to go on community projects and stuff, and be open to criticism and stuff. But
yeah, you know what? I'll tell you, nothing really to do so much with the podcast at all. I was thinking about this a little bit earlier today about it. In my mind, it was the person I went to was Harmonix Al or Complicit Al or whatever, and I know that he's, very involved and he's constantly on, threads and whatnot, but it's not just him, but the complete lack of, relatively speaking, I'm phrasing this badly. The way that Harmonix seems so thin-skinned when it comes to criticism is baffling to me. They can't possibly think that this game is, obviously not perfect. They know they rushed it out the door, and things like that. And it just seems like, the brigade of Harmonix defenders could never accept any criticism whatsoever. And some of that came from Harmonix themselves, which is unfortunate.
I would agree with you, Josh, in the sense that the interview with Harmonix was a high point of the show. It's something that I will look back at fondly as one of my favorite podcast moments of this and this show entirely, guys. This community, every single one of you guys.
Big deal, because
these listeners, guys, I love you guys. You have no idea how much the listeners of this show mean to me. And it's the thing that makes me wonder if this should really be the end of Living Room Clutter or not. It's you guys. I hate at this point. I hate to say this, but I really don't like Rock Band 4. I don't. I don't like Guitar Hero Live. I don't like our cycle of news. At the same time, Josh, as all this comes up, we say that we've kind of lost out in the community. I believed in building this show on honesty. And always from the beginning. And people think I'm just an angry, ranting, ginger-faced person. But when Harmonix came on, and I told Sid this before we let Josh in the room, I said, I'm not going to lie to this guy. I respect him as an important part of the industry and somebody who made Rock Band and should be respected, but we had so many flaws at that point.
Yeah, you needed to ask the tough questions because almost nobody else was at that point that was from a major publication.
And we got legitimate good answers. And Josh, I respect you for that, Josh.
I'm trying to think at the point that he came on.
He said he'd come back.
Right, but no, at the point that he came on, end of March, 2016. So at that point, the game had a few updates, was much more like not rivals, but the had they done brutal mode by that point? I know they'd done most of the exports.
Yes,
at least in
I
America.
believe so, because that was December 2015, so it would have been after that.
Shortly after brutal mode.
And at that point, I think we had all the main exports, I believe.
Most of them.
Maybe we were missing Lego or something like that. I don't know.
I know we were missing things because I remember saying
sure.
It, and I was and I remember feeling kind of bad about it. I remember having a conversation about the lack of online play and the intricacies of I remember even talking about leaderboards and what we think about exploits and what we thought about pushing this game out this early and the comparison between Guitar Hero Live. And I think Josh gave us great answers, and I think I appreciate him for that. But at the same time, I think maybe over time we started to offend them a little bit. My dog has been freaking out for the last 2 hours, and I just don't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
We've been, but I think a testament to this show and even the last couple episodes, I think we're part of the loudest voice of this community. And every time we say something, I think we see a change in Harmonix. I'm sure the outrage of the Reddit forums and all of that has made a difference. But I mean, we had a guy on, we talked about about the UK exports and all sorts of stuff and the European stuff. And the next day after our show publishes, they put out a press release and here's what we're trying to do, guys. And maybe, I don't know. I know there's still people in Harmonix who listen to this show. There has to be, because we have changed things, whether it's directly or not. And that if we're not even just the only piece of it. But I think we may have criticized them a little bit more, but I think we need to accept the reality, and Rock Band 4 is not perfect.
No, it's not perfect. And I think you kind of started off by saying you don't, not that maybe you said hate. I don't remember what you said, that you don't like Rock Band 4, and I don't. I have issues with some of the way things have been handled, but to me, the core game is still essentially the same. It's
fun.
not. Yeah, and it's still, at its, when there's 4 people, together playing in a room is when it's at its best, which is one of the sad things about online play is that it is so difficult to get 4 people together, because you can't have multiple people from one console online. You can't just get matchmaking to find a 4 people easily. It's really difficult to get 4 people together.
I love Rock Band. I really do, but I feel like overall in the course of this show, and I feel like I've been let down, and I think maybe some of that came across, and maybe I hurt some people's feelings in Harmonix, and I didn't mean to do that. But at the end of the day, as I built this show on honesty. We're a voice of the community, and my opinion is my opinion. Take it or leave it. And I think we've all of us have done this. All of us here, every single one of us. From Sid complaining about the price of DLC in Canada, from Josh, I don't know, Josh loves Rock Band 4. He's the only one.
You know what?
I think it's okay. That's the thing. I'm sort of with you guys, where I play it and the game itself is pretty serviceable, but I've honestly found myself more interested in playing other games more than this.
Yeah. I remember the whole Canada getting the more expensive DLC. And at the time, I never realized it because we had to go do the exchange rate and everything like that. And when they made it 190, they were actually getting it. You guys were getting it cheaper than us for a long time because of the exchange rate.
Yeah, and then there are some states that don't have tax added either.
Right. It's only been more expensive for Canadians for the last, like whatever it's been. I don't know, 6 months, a year, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
for me, it's easier to swallow because of the quantity they put out. It's really not terrible to only get 5 new songs a month.
We're in a weird economy where
we're in a weird world in general. So Rock Band is just a distraction from that weird world.
I love Rock Band.
I love this weird world too. I know.
I don't know. I love doing this show. That's important to say here.
You know something that I think though they really have dropped the ball on is in terms of like with communication on stuff that should be very basic. Like having more than 100-something units of an adapter that you've been promising for more than a year and selling out in 20 minutes, not once, but twice. And it comes out really without any warning. And then when people do try and order, they order and it gets back ordered right away, or they basically get told, sorry, we're out of stock. We're going to make another run in May.
Yeah.
Try again.
They were letting people order more than one, and then they had to change it.
Especially for something like this when they know they don't have a lot of, like, I'm going to be honest, this is not Nintendo levels of false scarcity, but at the same time, this is just a case of PDP really should have known better after the first time.
Well, I mean, if it really was, relatively speaking, $150 or not dollars, 150 units or so, that's just incompetence. I mean, look, they know that they had a bunch of people that wanted this. And like I said, I'm not saying they should have made 50,000 of these things. But to have made 150 is just absurd. I mean, they know they had a bunch of people that wanted this. To not make at least 1,000 just seems bafflingly stupid to me. I mean, I don't think they would have had any trouble selling out 1,000 in 2 hours, much less,
I think they could have made 3,000 and had a little bit of leftover and done the right thing, and everybody would have gotten one.
That's the important thing with something like this that's so limited. It's better to have excess left over
not from their perspective, because they don't want to be sitting on dead.
Yeah, but then obviously that's too low, because then there's going to be more people. I mean, I'll agree with this. It should be limited to at most 2 per person, but even then, most people wouldn't, because you get one, and then you always would get one for backup in case something happens to the first one.
Sure.
Because you never know with shipping stuff, sometimes things happen.
Why did they make
this became out of PDP?
This is a part I don't understand about manufacturing. Everybody sit down. Dave's going to go on another rant because that's what he does apparently. Why can't they make these on demand? Meaning,
because
take orders at this point. Take orders and make the ones that get paid for and ship them off.
Because they probably have the factory that makes these things probably has a certain amount of time that they are able to make them for them. So when they're trying to get an order and they say, hey, we can press these things for basically 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, depending on how many you're ordering. If you're ordering 50,000, they obviously have more time for you than if you're getting 150. If you're only ordering 150 of these, they were probably like, oh yeah, we can make these for an hour, 3 weeks from now. And that's it. I mean, you can't just take orders, forever. But I mean, I don't see why they couldn't have taken pre-orders on their website, at least like said, hey, look, you do an announcement, you actually, give some people some notice, and you say, look, we're going to start taking pre-orders in 1 week. We are going to continue taking pre-orders for 1 week, and that's it to the end of the time. And they
could order it in that week. Too bad.
Right, and if the number of people that ordered it was, whatever, let's just say 500, and they decided that they wanted to make 600 just to have backup spares, warranty stuff, whatever, then they could do that. But that way they don't end up ordering 5,000 when there's really 1,000 people that need them. But
right, but that would solve this entire problem.
Yeah, but they still have to find, it's not like PDP's making this in the back of their office. They're manufacturing this out to China somewhere, some factory like Foxconn or something like that is printing them, and sending them over. So they have to give Foxconn, whatever, $5,000 up front or whatever the number is, to even get the things began. But 150 is, even if they had 150 twice, in these 2 times that sold out the past couple of days, 300 that were gone in, minutes. I mean, yeah, they're not going to sell 10,000, but 300, that's just fucking absurd. Absurd.
The most absurd.
I'm not marking it. Sorry, everybody.
I'm not sorry. This is the last show.
Sorry, not sorry.
Going out guns blazing.
Shot down in a blaze of glory. Alternate reality, if Dave was the head of PDP.
I would take orders for a week, and then I would make
You would use some of the money to help keep Mad Cats alive, and the two of you would form a partnership in which...
If I ran Mad Cats, that sounds like a really bad idea for a podcast at this point.
Well, given what happened, maybe it's better you don't.
It couldn't have gone any worse. I mean, what could you have possibly done? They're already out of business.
I mean, best case scenario is they stay not bankrupt for maybe a little bit longer and have enough foresight to plan out a little bit.
Not bet the farm on Rock Band, on a niche of a niche of a
niche. See that you could have just gotten a DeLorean, and that's how. Again, this is how the show is going to end. We go into time warp, and it's like May 9th, 2015. And none of this actually happened. This was all just some idea in Dave's head as he's tweeting Sid with the idea for this show.
That could be really fun. Let's start over, guys. Let's pretend like Rock Band 4 is not out.
This is just your generic video game podcast.
No, that's the problem.
Today's topic, Call of Duty World War II. Because Battlefield already did a 1, and that means Overwatch is going to do a 3.
I'd much rather talk about... 3. I mean, I picked up Puyo Puyo Tetris the other day.
That's on PS4, I heard.
It is. Tetris is another one of... You want to talk about licensing. Try dealing with the Tetris company. So they have, on the Switch, they have a download version and a physical version, okay? On the Xbox One, I think it came out in Japan, but it's not out over here in any way, shape, or form for whatever reason. On the PS4...
Because for all 100 of the people who own Xboxes in Japan, they had to have a game that catered to them.
But still, I still can't believe, I mean, how hard is it to translate Tetris and do the work when you've already got it up and running on PS4 to run it on Xbox One?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then on the PS4, over here, there is a physical version, but not a download version, because per the Tetris company rules, you cannot have 2 versions of Tetris on an online store. And since the Ubisoft Tetris, I forget what it was called, Tetris Ultimate.
Tetris Ultimate.
Yep,
I'm looking at it right now.
That game is, already on the PS4 store, so you can only get it physical. Yeah, and I have both versions, and I mean, even if I was just playing Tetris straight up, I do think that the Puyo Puyo Tetris just generally runs better. Like the it's not like Tetris. You can still play Tetris on the Ubisoft version, but it's
Yeah.
not optimized very good. Let's just say that. A lot of bull crap Ubisoft online functionality gets in the way.
Coming soon. Living room Tetris.
That's right.
It just ends up being a whole bunch of people. It's like the new Twister. Instead of having to like fit on a board, it's like everybody having to like contort their body to fit in a puzzle.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe that's how Hole in the Wall and those whole Japanese game shows got started. Somebody just really liked Tetris and thought, what if we had Tetris, but with people?
Oh,
This has been another edition of Shower Thoughts.
That'd be a fun idea.
I'm trying to think if we have anything else. Okay, spotlight for this week. This is going to be an interesting little diversion. So last week on one of the Twitch streams, Harmonix had this sort of raffle where whoever won got to pick the spotlight songs for this week. So Fresh Prince of RB or Long View to Paradise, or if you go by the subreddit name, or his name on the subreddit, he picked a few songs. So this week's challenge is called Fresh Picks of Rock Band. We have Green Day with Jesus of Suburbia. So enjoy playing a 9-minute, 8-second long song for Spotlight. But it's a good song. We also have Marilyn Manson with the Mephistopheles of Los Angeles, which, it's an alright sounding song. I just haven't really played it that much. It's good though. And then Jesus Christ Pose by Soundgarden. So have fun with that one, drummers. I like the song though. They're good songs, but this is interesting because remember how they said that one, they wouldn't really ever let community members do Spotlight, maybe at first at least. I don't know if they ever changed that stance. And two, remember how they said one of the 3 slots has to be a Rock Band 4-disc song?
Yeah, no,
I guess this is a special case.
yeah, not anymore.
This is why I'm wondering, why can't they just add a mode where with our local parties, we can make our own like 3-song Spotlight things instead of having to let them always decide for us?
well, it's
Yeah,
called
wouldn't that be
set
cool?
list.
No. What if we could do community rivals? So like we could set up.
It's called Rock Band World. They did that in 2012 and it worked great. Then they forgot it was a thing and didn't do it again.
Like,
That
what
was
if we
what
could
was
have,
great
like,
about
a-
this.
like a-
Like that
like-
is what Community Rivals was. You can make your own challenges, work with other people on them, and they would actually like have them on a featured list. And you can make a whole bunch of them because it didn't matter what you were playing.
What if we could take the people from this community, and specifically from this community, like I have to approve people into a living room clutter group, right? So these are people who have to reach out to me through means of this show, right? And then we're all compete. Harmonix, I fixed your leaderboards. Get ready. Ready? Listen. I can pull in as many people from this community as I want. So I can pull people off subreddits, whatever. Doesn't matter. But I'm approving them individually one by one to trust them to not mess up with the system. Therefore, I can look at my living room clutter group leaderboard, right? So within our small community, we're competing on our own. One-on-one, no rivals teams. No.
So what
teams.
you're saying, it's a niche mode for a niche audience with niche features in a niche, and it just literally becomes a small cube.
Yes, but at least it works.
I like that idea. I'm just can something like that even really be feasible with whatever sort of infrastructure they're trying to update?
Who cares? At this point, they're not going to fix it.
You're asking. You must care.
At this point, Rock Band Rivals is going to get updated once or four times a year. Let's just put it this way. It's going to get updated 4 times a year. No one's going to care, and everybody's going to stop playing it before the end of the year. That's what we've confirmed. I'm going to call it right now.
Meanwhile, we still have 5 months roughly until Drop Mix.
Is that
And
that's
nothing
come out
else.
till September?
September, yeah.
By the way, guys, we will come back for Drop Mix now that you brought it up. We will.
I'm not.
Josh, Keith, and I will get together. I will get Drop Mix, and we will talk about it.
I am not coming back for Drop Mix. What are you on? I'll come
Only
back.
come back for Drop Mix if somebody else provides the mixes to drop.
I
Yeah.
will provide.
The only way
ability
Keith
to
will
play
come
Drop
back
Mix.
is if he gets to promptly follow it up with dropping some elbows.
Yeah, I will come back. You know, I'm assuming at E3 they will have something to say. I mean, I really doubt they're going to do another expansion. but maybe
No, they're
they'll
working
have,
on something. They're working on something for the Switch because
they're
they
working,
have to be.
they're working on something. Whether or not it's Rock Band related is what I'm, I mean, they have some news at E3. I think that would be something to come back and have sort of a special episode about, type of thing. But I just don't see Rock Band as being.
I will pay for you to come here to play Dropmix with me. Let's put it that way.
I just don't see that there being anything major to be added. There'll be some
Quality of life, basically.
some songs here and there, some slightly updating stuff. I mean, I think that at the point that we truly get, if we ever get, because I'm still kind of skeptical at this point, we truly get our delisted songs and the game is truly feature complete, I think we have to come back and do a retrospective, hey, everything's in now. What are our final thoughts on Rock Band? When they announced that they are turning it, that DLC is done, we do our, throw dirt on, some of our extra instruments, like my Rock Band Rivals stuff that's still sitting here in the box next to my computer that has not even been opened yet. When they did that GameStop $40 guitar bundle. I mean, I went and bought the second. I went and bought the second guitar because I had two of the 360 guitars, and I gave one to my daughter to use at her mom's house. So I wanted to at least have two truly wireless guitars for here. And it was like, oh, this is cheap and free, and I'll give away the code for Rivals or something like that, which I think I did, but I can't.
I think we did.
But it's still sitting in the box. I mean, I haven't even unfolded that guitar to try it out. So
I don't even know it works.
For all I know, it doesn't. So
I bought a band kit when I got the game, so I got it for Road Crew. I have two bundles. I never used the second drum kit ever. Never touched it, not even once. I put it together because my first one kind of came apart when I put it together, and it's together. But I never touched it. I had it mounted on the wall for a while.
I feel sorry that you guys are still using the regular drum sets, but at the same time, I don't.
Yeah. You know what? This buy-in at this point is ridiculous, and it's not going to happen because I'm never going to get a PDP.
Well, it's not ridiculous because right now you could go get the whole band kit for $100.
No, a real E-kit, a real drum kit.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not too. Good luck getting an adapter. I actually have an adapter, thankfully, even though I don't, play the drums. I bought one because my.
Oh yeah, Roxas says he saw PDP Pro cymbals at GameStop, and I did hear about that.
I didn't think they were even making cymbals. PDP,
and there's the problem. There's the problem right there. You wouldn't even have known about it if not for something like this.
Hey, look at the most committed people to the Rock Band community, guys who run a show with over 100 episodes, the #1 rhythm gaming podcast on the internet, didn't even know that PDP was making cymbals.
Let's just, for the sake of argument, let's just say that they actually came out to I don't know, let's just say last week, whatever. Why would they release them now? I mean, if they were going to make them, you would think they would have released it at the time that their drum set came out. You know what I mean? I mean, you can still buy Rock Band, Mad Catz PDP cymbals from Amazon right now.
I still have a Mad Catz set of cymbals somewhere.
I have two sets because I found some real cheap at that bargain place that I love. So I have an extra set just sitting in a closet. They're not difficult to come by, and yet PDP put them out there when no one was really buying PDP drums in the first place. I mean, a handful of people did because they're fans or they thought they might be better than the Mad Catz drums, but most people didn't really care about
better than Mad Catz anything. With that is not a statement that should be finished because they have not done anything better than Mad Catz. We were honestly, a lot of us were naive in thinking so at first. In hindsight,
we can get cymbals for $40 still.
What, Mad Catz?
I don't know. Rock Band 4 cymbals.
It's probably good to know what kind it is. I'm just gonna go through the live chat here. So Roxas has been hanging out with us since the beginning. Also, Jared Wren and John Carson joined us earlier, and that's pretty cool. John can Gold Star 2112 on drums on a stock kit. I'm assuming he means expert, and that's not.
Well, if they're Gold Star, they'd have to be expert.
Yeah, that's no small feat considering how long that song is. And Roxas, I tried to get one, but I had to get the bundle for $99. Well, there are some deluxe editions of standalone games that are like $90, $100. So really, it's not terrible for that price.
Hey guys, want the best news about this? I'm looking at the Rock Band prices. Despite the fact that Rock Band 4s, like Rock Band copies of Rock Band Rivals, is sold out, right, for PS4, the guitar bundle is still $75.97, which is not on sale. It should have been down to $40 because that's what the sale went down to. It's $75. It's still less than it was to buy new. And that's
why is there not a permanent price drop for this by this point?
Because that's like limited Amazon stock. That's them fluctuating for demand. Therefore, they don't have a lot of them left. Might as well sell them.
Well, I mean, you can go if you go to GameStop right now.
Yeah,
you can add to cart, Xbox PS4 version of the guitar bundle.
Yeah.
They have 99, for $40. For $100, they still have the PlayStation 4 band bundle. And actually, they still have the band bundle for Xbox One too for $99. Now, how many they have, I have no clue.
Yeah, but if you really want it,
you can get it, and $100 to get the drums, the guitar, the mic, the Rivals update, and the game is not a bad deal.
No, it's fantastic.
You're getting in on a limited basis, but the limited basis of what's available. But
if you played Rock Band 3 before and you enjoyed it, you're listening to this. You bought some DLC back then, you probably could get most of it back in there. It's worth having.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
or like
you came in and with DLC being fixed to this point, because they've fixed a lot of broken entitlements now. So if you want to jump in. The sooner the better.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you didn't say get an Xbox or a PS4 right away, you didn't get it till the last year, so maybe you weren't buying it right away. But yeah, it's still a good deal if you can go find it.
Get it now before it's all gone, because it will eventually disappear.
Yeah, just like it was very difficult to get a hold of, 360 guitars. Still is kind of difficult to get a hold of 360 guitars.
Yeah, you kind of just gotta find you gotta find somebody locally who has it.
I can't wait to find a used copy of Rock Band 4 for like $10.
My
you know what?
I would my 360 Red Ring this week.
Your 360.
A moment of silence. Okay, long enough.
Yeah.
I really hope that at some point they put Rock Band 4 digitally as very cheap. But part of the problem with that is that I already have the Rivals update, and they don't sell just Rock Band 4 anymore. They only sell it with the Rivals bundle and stuff built into it, which is too expensive for me to buy digitally at this point. I'd love to pick up just Rock Band for $20 and just have it permanently on my system, not have to deal with, the disc swapping and stuff like that.
It would make it a little bit more impulsive just to be like, I'm just going to play a song of Rock Band. Which would be good.
So there's a few other rhythm game stuff, and then we got a really nice thing for listener feedback since we've still got a little bit of time left in this special retrospective episode.
It's the last episode. We got time, guys.
Yeah. All right. So, because I'm leaving it for last, but Rocksmith's DLC this week was actually quite good. It was a Royal Blood 3-pack. So for bassists or people that like to play guitar parts on a bass, this is your week. We've got Figure It Out, which was in Rock Band last year, and it's got an alternate lead. Little Monster, which is finally freed from Guitar Hero Live. Lead is in E standard, and C standard is the tuning for bass and rhythm, and the alt lead and alt bass. So I would say definitely at least get that song, and then Out of the Black is in D standard. So if you like rock duos, if you like playing bass, if you like fun rock music, then this is probably another good week to pick up all the songs, because I'm all for getting more songs from Guitar Hero Live and other more viable rhythm games. I just wish they had put Come On Over instead of Out of the Black, because I like that song more than Out of the Black. That and Out of the Black reminds me of Hey Hey My My Into the Black, or by Neil Young. Or is it into Out of the Black that's a reference to Neil Young then, because it's Hey Hey My My Into the Blue and Hey Hey My My Out of the Black. Classic rock kiddies.
Yep.
Cool.
Is there any other news?
You'll know if
this week's Rock Band DLC, which is one new song, but Beast and the Harlot. by Avenged Sevenfold is the Rewind, and then Heaven Knows by the Pretty Reckless is the new song.
Oh yeah, and they had I saw
That's not new.
they had an interview with Taylor Momsen on their.
Oh yeah, on the
today.
blog.
Yeah.
It's almost like that should have been something that could have been on a podcast, maybe in a video format.
Yeah, that would have been. She's not hard on the eyes. They could have done that.
Or in your iTunes feed.
Yeah.
Nah, they're too busy dropping the mix everywhere.
Yeah.
Good thing Josh got one more good pun joke in there
Yeah.
before the end of the show.
If I can only be remembered for one thing, it's for delivering
The puns.
some good puns and then sometimes having some good opinions on things. And filling in for Sid 95% of the time.
On the
Saving
news.
the show.
Yeah, I don't want to say I usurped him because that's not a good choice of words because I wasn't really trying to, but I like to say I filled the role of resident Canadian pretty well most of the time.
Newsmeister.
Yeah.
News Maestro, I like that.
Your igloo's a little bit more plain than his ever was because it used to have dishes and stuff stacked in the back. You've got pretty plain walls, but other than that, you're on.
Yeah, well, I can't afford to renovate right now. Sorry.
Yeah, you can't get those ice blocks put up quick enough.
Well, it's starting to get warm. It's all gonna melt. I've got to put it in summer mode. So are we ready for listener feedback
Yes.
for probably the last time
Oh no, it won't be the last time. Who knows?
for a little bit?
For a little while. Stay tuned, guys. Don't. We'll talk about it at the end. Stay tuned.
All
Who's got
right, I
listener
have.
feedback? Does Sid even upload this? to
No.
your-
No,
He's
he
been
hasn't
on
had the last few
vacation,
ones
so-
up there.
Yeah, we only have stuff on Dacespace channel. We did get a decent amount of comments though, considering I don't know if it's people
11
worried 'cause it's the
comments.
last
Yeah, thank you
show.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there was. Yeah, you guys did great, and we appreciate it. And don't pretend like this is the last time you're gonna see the three of us together. It won't. I promise. I promise. I don't know about them. I can promise for me. I'll invite them. That's all I can promise.
I'm not coming back to drop mix. It's not happening.
Even if I pay for you to come all the way here, Keith.
I'll tell you what I'll come back for, because as one door closes, another opens. Because not 12 hours after we had our last show last week, the return of gloriousness did come back with the
Oh, I know. We'll be
Yeah.
back in. You and I will be back in like 2 months, no matter what.
the official announcement
What?
of Hot Shots Golf's American release date, which it is no longer called Hot Shots Golf in America. They have gone to the Everybody's Golf. That is it's always been called in the rest
It's
of
always
the
been
world.
that in Japan, and they finally decided, let's just make it uniform.
Yeah, it's always been that in Europe too. It's just only been here that it was ever called anything different. And me being the impatient person that I am, the games always come out like 6 months later here than in Japan. So they put it up for pre-order in Japan, and they also put up a thing for a beta test, which is happening in like 3 weeks. And I bought it, paid like $77 because of exchange rates, and they had a season pass version. And then they didn't
pass.
for like some new courses and stuff like that. So like,
I'm just hoping it's going to be worth however much it was.
well, it's actually a great deal, because when they announced it for America, they waited. It was announced on Monday in Japan, which I think I mentioned last week. And then on Thursday, they announced it for America, and we're actually getting it 2 days earlier than Japan, just because of like Tuesday
That's a nice
releases versus like
Yeah.
Thursday releases, stuff like that,
Right.
which we've never done before. But when it comes out over here, it's only going to be $40.
40. Okay, that's a good deal. 40
Yeah,
US.
And like if you would buy it at like say Best Buy or like Amazon, where they could do those 20,
Club, Amazon Prime,
It'd
that's
only
even better.
it'd only be $32. So that's a great deal. It's a great price to get people.
And that's with the season
in.
pass included.
Not over here. They haven't given the details for that over here yet.
I want to say $20.
I think that's probably it's. If you look at the difference in price between the season pass version and the non-season pass version in Japan, it was basically, let's think here. It was like basically 3,000 yen, maybe 3,500. So $30 max. Max. So, and I wouldn't doubt it'd be only 20 over here.
To answer John Carson in the chat, if Rock Band 5 ever gets announced, we'll reboot the show.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, you're too kind, John. I didn't give you all of the news. I gave you most of the news because sometimes we forget things. We sometimes at Living Room Clutter make mistakes. Living Room Clutter would like to make the following corrections. Long list of things scrolls up. Look, Dad, there's your name. Yeah. That's a reference to one episode of The Simpsons. I'll try and let you figure out which one.
If Rock Band 5 gets announced, this show will absolutely 100% be rebooted.
For the Scorpio, the PS5, and whatever replaces the Switch.
Yeah, and I will invite Keith and Josh, and we will make it a thing if we can. But
Well,
Hey, who
hopefully-
knows? Maybe they'll finally realize they can put it on PC without having to crowdfund it.
Or maybe maybe this time that since hopefully Guitar Hero won't be around, they can just have the market to themselves this time, as opposed to trying to compete with each other. Or maybe they can get together, pool their money like they should have the first time. Call it Rock Band Guitar Hero, or I'm sure Activision's got the
Rock
money.
Hero.
Rock Hero. It's the obvious name. Rock.
But then you got to relicense everything. So the best way to go would be to call it Rock Band Guitar
Why not just call it Music Simulator 2015? Like Farming Simulator, Job Simulator, all the other simulator ones.
Band Simulator.
Yeah.
in VR.
You can get cameos from like the goat from Goat Simulator. You can play as a tractor. You can play as a robot, the robot from Job Simulator. That was a thing where like they really should have taken advantage of the character sort of cross licensing that they sort of tried doing, because they didn't really commit to it enough.
All right, who's got listener feedback open?
Well, we both do.
I think we both.
And
do.
I've got the special email and wrestling thingy to read as well.
Go
One-
for the comments first.
I got the comments up, so why don't I take care of those? And then since you've got that wrestling thing, you can go ahead and read that. Okay, so we got Random Video Emporium says, "What's up, LRC crew? Longtime listener and fellow Chipotle addict here. Just wanted to congratulate you guys on 100 episodes. I wonder if Sid will make a surprise appearance on episode 100. Sid was invited. We are not sure if he is still on vacation or what. We didn't hear
That's
about
all
it.
we
It's
can
possible
say.
he might still be on vacation at the time of this
Yeah.
podcast.
I'm not sure. Sid does like to take those 2-week-long vacations. There's Canadians getting all that vacation time. We got
What can I
Alien Myth.
say?
Alien Myth responded, if not, they should have a little Sid cardboard cutout and someone else voice him. Peace and love. Peace and love. We have John Carson says, as a drummer, I love the Grateful Dead Spotlight. Travis Combs says that China Cat has a weird drum chart, and Johnny Carson comes back and just, it is weird, but that's part of what makes it fun. $6, I'm getting it. That's, I guess, for $6, I think it's for
the first Grateful Dead pack.
no, I think he was talking about
For Sing, Sing Space is $6.
Yes,
Yes.
he's talking about the VR stuff, and he says, I exclusively use my Gear VR outside wandering aimlessly, Keith. If Jim Young,
If we ever watch Rick and Morty, we'll talk about Rick and Morty. But I don't think
Season 3 is going to be coming a lot sooner than Rock Band 5.
yeah.
Yeah.
We got Jim Young says, sung to the tune of 99 bottles of beer on the wall. 99 podcast on YouTube. Listen to 99 podcast on YouTube. Take one, download and play it again. 98 podcast on YouTube. So looking forward to 100. I'm glad you guys are sticking together and working on something even better for the future. Rock Band verified account, 17 hours more. News on next Rivals update coming Monday. Stay tuned, which we talked about. And we got Travis says you can still stream through Twitch on Xbox One. I streamed this morning. I think that was something, Dave, you mentioned last week, and I was say I know they didn't take it out. They changed the way Snap works, but you can still stream.
So yeah, apparently I was talking to my other co-host on Sheldon Forgotten, my other podcast, guys. This isn't my only podcast. And we were talking about it, and apparently because you can't snap, Twitch doesn't work the same way, and he doesn't know how to do it, and I don't know. I've never streamed on Twitch. So don't ask me.
I haven't streamed in a long time.
But
So
if
we
it's
got-
still possible, that's a good thing. It should still be possible.
So we got Travis again says we're here in Eastern Daylight Time right now, not Eastern. When
That's what I
Daylight
thought.
Savings Times ends, we'll be back in Eastern. I usually just cheat and use Eastern. I don't know where he's at though. I mean, I know we're in Daylight Savings Time, but we're still in the Eastern Savings Time. We're just in the Daylight Time version of it.
But so that makes us Eastern
We're still-
Daylight
we're
Time,
still-
not
I
Eastern
guess.
Standard Time.
Okay, fair enough.
That's the debate, and it's stupid.
I thought he was saying that like maybe he was in Central, and I know there are some places being in Ohio that are really close to the border. Like the time change is not far from where I am in Ohio, and there are some Indiana towns because they're so close to the time change. They use Eastern even though they're technically in Central for business reasons and things like that. Yeah. Yep. Last thing here, I've got John Guy says congrats on 100 episodes. It's been great to hook up with you guys, and a weekly podcast has been a big highlight of the week for me personally. Keep the faith weekly with the crew, and hope we still have some miles on the clock with this game. Thanks, Dave, Josh, Keith, and Sid. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. Yeah, it was really nice to have him. To sort of help represent the European community, especially early on with all those content delays. I mean, obviously, they didn't always affect him personally, but it was just nice to show that this podcast really does bring people together all around the world.
Right.
Right.
Thank you. Really, thank you to the audience, guys. Every single one of you.
And everybody in the live chat here.
Means a lot.
You're just a little more special.
Everybody who listened to an episode, every single guest we had. I tried to go through a list of the guests, but I don't want to miss anybody.
Toy Machine SH, Nick from Rock Band, some other site, Oscar, there was Platstrat, there was Sora Roxas, aka Metal Jesus, of course PNG, whose show you can also listen to or watch at some point.
PNG podcast. There's so many. And I would have loved to pull Oscar and Elliot and us. And guys, those people are still in my Skype chat. I still try to talk to them occasionally. Don't worry. Rock Band 5 gets announced. Who knows? This could be a whole nother show. And guys, leaving it in your subscription box doesn't hurt. I'm just gonna say that. Leaving it in your iTunes subscriptions, maybe something will surprise you. Maybe something will pop up in there.
Just make sure to hit that little bell to make sure you get notifications.
Yeah. God, I hate YouTube right now.
You know, and before we start,
it doesn't hurt.
Before we start losing some people, you know,
yep.
Mario Kart comes out this week. Anybody wants to play Mario Kart with me? I'm sure Dave's getting it also.
We've got a huge community of people who are going to participate in a Mario Kart thing. Keith is part of that. He's more than welcome to play in this community. Not just us guys over at the Warp Whistle, the guys from We the Nerdy. We're going to play with some of the kind of funny people, I think, too, which is amazing.
So like send your friend codes, you know, on Twitter, whatever, you know.
At LRC Band is probably the easiest, but I'm at dacespace. Keith is a K-Doll. Josh is a JC Lexicon, but he's not
K-Doll 08.
Yeah.
All the Twitter stuff.
And you know what? To be honest,
all the links are in the description below. Always.
Right. And to be honest,
for the Mario Kart thing, I do not own any Nintendo consoles, so
we can't speak for your failings, Josh.
No, I'm just letting people know not to hit me up about it. But I will say, feel free to play with those two guys. They sound like they know what they're doing.
Me more than Dave.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
I'm playing for the fun of it. I didn't say I was good at it.
Winning is fun. All right.
So, guys, stay tuned. Don't worry. This is not the last show in a way it is, but it's not the last show forever. I will come back for Drop Mix, even if it's me for 15 minutes by myself talking about how bad it is. It's fine. Maybe it's good. Maybe I'll convince the whole world that it's the greatest game ever. I'll get them to buy it, then they'll buy it, and they'll play it, and then we'll do a weekly show about Drop Mix. Harmonix,
not seeing it.
Harmonix, if you're listening, you still have my address.
Quality mouth sucking.
From Road Crew, you still have my address. I would really like a review unit. I'm just going to say it.
I was going to say, because how much is it? $100?
Yeah, it's $100.
Yep.
So
with expansions. Not including expansions.
Yeah.
So if you really want me to talk about it, on the number one rhythm gaming podcast,
board game podcast.
That's not a terrible.
It's just us playing board games and talking about stuff.
Yeah, except we have to play board games. We could play online. We could play Monopoly. We could just do a Monopoly.
There's a few options at least. I'm just like, because it got me thinking about that.
Let's do it.
But that's a subject for another day.
If it appears, guys, it will appear as Living Room Clutter, episode 101. No matter what our new show ends up being, just so that you guys can find it. So keep an eye out.
Tabletop Clutter.
Oh, God, that reminds. I follow.
Basement Clutter.
Yeah, I
Because that's
still
where
have.
all my board games are.
Oh God, no! I'll tell you, I still have Dan Hugh, the former editor in chief of EGM, as a friend on Facebook and friend on Twitter, and he's huge into board games, and he's got a wall in his apartment, and you know how small apartments can be in like San Francisco. They have like a room essentially dedicated to it, and like they organize games all the time. But he's got, I don't even know. I mean, he must have like 250 board games. I don't know how he has time to play them.
All right, guys, let's look at here at this.
I'm gonna have to read through the email and sort of abridge the wrestling story because I'm running a little low on time. Basically, a good friend of mine over on the C3 forums, Nunchuck, he helps run the funhouse, the customs funhouse, and for old time's sake, to all the customs people, whether they've been authors, players, anybody over there, especially because when Nunchuck mentions this in his email, Trojan Nemo has sort of stepped down from doing any authoring stuff and monitoring tools, and Ferrotone has retired from authoring for the immediate future.
That'll be a big update too, guys, when Rock Band 4 is broken into and we can put customs in it.
It would be for the 360 version, but for everybody, for customs people, for all you do, this one's for you. Cheers.
Nothing.
All right, let me get the.
I'll eat the Mad Cat stickers.
Yeah. Hey there, Josh. How's it going, my friend? This week is the newest Rock Fight. To celebrate you guys' 100th episode, I gave the LSC crew a part in it. The first part is up now, and the conclusion will be Saturday. I did a couple fun spots with you guys. Here's a little something for your listener feedback. Hey, guys, thank you so much for all the hard work you guys have put in this podcast. I have watched every episode since day one. I look forward to it every week. You're appreciated, and there are many of us out here that can't wait to watch or listen. I put you guys in the Rock Fight Wasp versus Jackal match. You are lumberjacks in the lumberjack match. You get a fun interview spot, and in the conclusion, you'll have an impact, I'd say. I know Keith is down with the Macho Man elbow. What would you or the other guys use as a finisher? Do you have any great wrestling stories? I don't have any great wrestling stories because I'm not that into wrestling. I guess for my finisher, I try to let me see if I can describe it. So it's like, I try, if I was strong enough, I'd like lift them up and then do, I guess, like a pile driver and then like a double elbow drop.
My favorite wrestling story is the ones that you guys wrote about us because that's the closest to wrestling I've ever gotten. Except for the wrestling gym in my high school that smelled like BO. That place was terrible.
Those wrestling rooms always smelled bad. My favorite wrestling story is, me and my friends when we were younger, like senior year of high school, like freshman year of college, like we used to get together on Monday nights, and this is back during the N64 days when those wrestling games were really good. And we would get together on Monday nights and like have on TV like Raw and WCW because they were back when they were both going good, and like NWO was a big thing. And we would have, we'd all play against each other. We'd have like tag team champion, a heavyweight champion. We do battle royals. So every Monday night at my house was like a big party. And I mean, because we were lawless, youths, every Monday night was actually a pretty big party at my house. We had a, finished basement deck outside. There was usually, even if they weren't all playing video games, we usually had a good 35 people over every Monday night for basically the party at my house. Those are good times, good memories. And we're kind of getting a bunch of that crew back together this Saturday night to do drinking games with Mario Kart. That's right,
That
baby.
should be fun.
Shots
also
coming last. Shot.
Shots, everybody. So he's also asking, Dave, did you play customs yet?
No. One day I will. And I'll
One day. Maybe when Rock Band 4 finally gets customs, Dave will start doing Rock Band 3 customs.
Yeah, when I get a new 360 now.
And he also asks, what is your guys' take on customs now that the hype for RB4 is starting to run its course? I know Josh is down with customs and is active in the C3 community. Thanks, Josh. You rock. Do you other guys play any customs, or are you members of the C3 forums? It is an excellent community. I know Keith is at least familiar with it.
I'd love to be. I will do it eventually. I know I will.
I've had, I don't know how many exactly. I've had maybe 100 or so customs in my time. The biggest thing that I did not like, and I know they've gotten better at this, but I would run into songs that didn't sound right. You know what I mean? And there are most of the time that's not an issue, but I didn't do tons and tons of time on it, and the couple of songs that I did get that just didn't sound right to me, it was noticeable immediately. I know that the C3 Collective was trying to kind of combat that by hey, these songs are sort of like verified, for lack of a better lack of a better word, and that's much better, keeping it all organized in kind of one place, verifying that the quality is up to a certain standard. So that's much nicer.
That's why they're the best.
Yeah, like a decent amount of even the ones that regular people like you and me have made, they've had some multi-tracks in there too. But I think that's something where it is hit or miss. Like for the people that really care about that stuff, maybe some customs aren't right for you, but the fact that they do go to that much effort to try and include that is always welcome. If I may, I would like to take a moment to thank Ferritone from C3. He was my mentor, and he recently semi-retired from the customs world. He is a great guy, and without his years of hard work, I wouldn't even be typing this message. He gave so many hours to C3 selflessly and out of love for the game. I have no problem at all saying he's one of my personal heroes. That, and he also helped with the Rock Band companion app that some of us maybe are still using. That thing that they talked about for like 20 minutes one stream.
Yeah, I still use it. It still, relatively speaking, works well. The one thing I don't like about it is I don't believe it's ever gotten even one update.
Like it got like one update a month after, like a few weeks after it came out, but nothing since December, and it's now almost May.
I thought there was one update basically that was like just a super. Hey, we know we had this one issue, and they fixed that like really quickly.
I'm gonna look that up.
That was it. But maybe
I
I'm
really
wrong.
want to get to the wrestling thing before. Let me see here. Thank you guys for the cool memories. Congratulations on your milestone. If you keep making them, I'll keep on watching. Dave, Keith, and Joshua rock. Thank you for keeping that Rock Band fire burning. Always remember to rock out. Life is short. And then he just says, don't miss the exciting conclusion to Rock Fight Saturday night, Wasp versus Jackal. So basically, we're like lumberjacks, and there's a thing where Nirvana mentions us a little bit. So
where do you get this, Josh? That's the important part.
2 updates.
It is
2 updates. One 2 days after it came out that fixed a minor issue, and then one that basically came out a month later. Yes, like December 1st. And that's like the only things they ever did. And the guys that did it, I'm sure Harmonix didn't put a lot of money into it, but some of the stuff did not always work great. It works fine for 90% of what I use it for.
Okay, so Dave, to answer your question, if you go on customscreators.com, you go to the forums. It's Nunchuck inside Genesis Customs Funhouse thread. It'll say this week's Rock Fight thing in the title. It's on page 160. But basically, it's like, so down the aisle, adorned in luchador masks and LRC Rocks t-shirts, it's the LRC boys. They're here to make a statement. It looks like the Chipotle workout has suited them well, and they look ready for action. The crowd chants, "Where did Sid go? Where did Sid go?" And then once more, as if on cue, many small pieces of paper fall from the rafters. On them it says, "Have you seen me?" and a picture of the long missing Sid. This makes more sense if you actually read it, because there is a picture of Sid on there, and it's really funny. We go back to the stage for the introduction of the last group of lumberjacks, and it turns out to be the Trailer Park Boys, which is really cool. And then a bunch of footage of people with things and interviewing people. And then Nirvana, and then our interview segment. The crowd loves Nirvana. As the crowd cheers, we see JJ with the LRC crew. Hey guys, did you hear that? Nirvana gave you props and doesn't hate on you at all. How is it being back here in the arena? And then Dave says, "It's great to be here. This place rocks. We love that we are an official part of our match tonight. Thank you to our fans and make us the #1 rhythm gaming podcast." And then Keith says, "We're serious tonight. We're the law here. No one gets by me." Keith makes the bionic elbow hand gesture over and over and looks quite menacing. And then I say, "I predict Jackal will feel the sting of the Wasp tonight." Keith looks angrily at Josh, so Josh adds, "We will punish anyone out of line tonight."
He's better at it than you are. That was great.
I'm not gonna lie, it was. Yeah, that was very me. Thanks, guys. Let's send it back to the ring where referee Bobby Light is talking with the physicians at ringside tonight. Spin Doctor and Dr. Housequake, MD, Bob Wayne Zim, Dom and Pietro, and S.E. Smith are the officials of tonight's bout. Bobby Light now calls a meeting of the Lumberjacks to go over rules one last time. And then also they had a thing about he interviewed the guys from Nirvana, or at least Kurt Cobain. How do you feel about being out there with the LRC crew? They helped GNR win. Those guys supported their favorite band, or at least that Missing Sid guy's favorite band. We respect that and probably had nothing to do with his disappearance. Kurt and boys laugh maniacally and turn and exit. Yeah, so thank you, Nunchuck, for that. I know I read it a bit out of order, but that was
if you want
awesome.
the whole thing, it's there, and we want to send you guys over there. And
Oh, Alien Myth, you made it.
Alien Myth made it. Josh, if you have to drop out, you get ahead. We're gonna wrap up. Keith and I will say goodbye to our.
I want to try and
lovely
stick it out for a
audience.
few more minutes. I just put in the group chat over here a link to the thing if you want to read it for yourself.
So what's your guys' sort of favorite thing from memory, whatever, from
Getting to hang out with everybody here, because this was something where it was amazing to go from just like listening to this thing every so often and being able to talk about stuff. And it's like, I can talk about whatever opinions I have, and we could branch out and talk about so many other different things with people watching it and people that commented on it. It was like, now I feel like when creators say they're cultivating a fan base, like we were doing that.
Yeah, if I have a favorite thing about this show, it was the community. It is as much as the ride was a roller coaster up and down with this game, and the build to Rock Band 4 and the aftermath after Guitar Hero Live and all of that, like the fact that, like, I'm just gonna say it here, guys, that like Sid kind of disappeared, but I had you guys with me here the whole time because you guys were part of this community. You made this happen, from everybody who commented every week to the people who would like the videos to the guys who listen to on iTunes. The guys, the fact that we have this many iTunes reviews, we have like 20 something iTunes reviews. That's more than any podcast I've ever done. And that means a lot to me, guys. And I know some people are probably going, there's got to be somebody out there. No one has said this, but I know there's somebody out there who's upset the show's ending. And I speak to you as a way that this isn't really ending, but this was amazing. And this ride was amazing, but the way it's going can't possibly continue in the way that it is. But my favorite thing was reading your guys' comments every day. From the first comments from Chubb Stuff to Alien Myth. The fact that Alien Myth made us fan artwork.
You took my spot.
Come on, dude. I love that thing.
That was awesome.
I use that artwork, and guys, and to those in Alien Myth, you know this. I tried so hard, and I just couldn't get T-shirts ready for this with Team Keith and episode 100 LRC bands, and a shirt with me saying, "We need you on stage right now." Is Josh got a shirt on?
No, I have a shirt on. I just needed to stretch. I didn't make my shirt. No, shirt. This is always. See. Always.
I tried to get those out for you guys, and I couldn't, and it's still a shame. I tried, and Alien Myth knows this because I asked him. I use your artwork for this, and I tried. I've been trying forever. Like this community has made something so amazing, and I'm sad to see it go, if anything. But I can't come on here. We can't come on here every week and be like, "Hey guys, look they put out one song." Like, can't do it. Can't be done. So the community is.
Can I also amend one of my favorite moments was
yes.
All like the little in jokes and
I
had something else for this
game, the customs drinking game.
Yeah,
is
and learning about more about Uno for PS4 here than I did ever before this.
God, the fact that Keith is our best LRC member. I stole your next idea, Keith.
And Keith teaching us more about Hot Shots golf.
Yeah, me learning more about Hot Shots golf is actually don't care.
It's a little late there, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, just a little bit. No, I this has been so fun, guys.
Dave, Jared in the chat. If only Harmonix was as dedicated to their game as you guys are to the podcast. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's exactly it. Thank you. Oh man. It's been a bumpy ride. Keith, are you still there?
Oh
no.
Oh,
we lost Keith.
Well, no, I guess it really is going to be old school. It's going to be two people starting it and two people ending it.
The awkward beginnings of me and Sid that we started this on. And to be fair, guys, and Josh and Keith, because Keith will go back and listen to this, I'm sure, when he realizes he dropped out.
He'll be back in a minute or two, probably.
Guys, I started out as a guy a viewer of Sid, right? I was just a guy who goes, this dude has one follower on Twitter. I'm going to send him a message and I'm going to start a show with him. And this show started the same week that my old show ended. And that meant a lot to me too, right? Like this was my big project. And as we've added more guys, a huge thanks to patreon.com/dacespace who really, when you guys made that commitment to donate that amount, that's what kept this show on the air too at that moment. Like there was a period in time where this was going to fall off. You have now sustained us, and all the other shows on the network are going to keep going. My shows, and guys, I can't say anything, and I'm sad I can't say anything now, but there's a lot coming to dacespace.com that's not just this stuff, and a lot of stuff you guys are going to enjoy. Big fans of other things are coming. So they
like
will
more
be there.
Keith.
Yeah, like more Keith stuff. We're going to make Keith make a show on his own.
Well, I'm back because apparently my internet just took a. So I'm on Verizon right now, as opposed to the nice stable internet connection.
Last minute shenanigans, as always.
Yeah, that's
the way it was always meant to be.
4 minutes. Ugh.
He's going to reset his router, everybody, I'm sure. Josh, I know you have to get out of here for time sensitivity. Guys, this is not our last time you'll see the three of us together, I promise. We'll stay in that group chat, guys. We will organize. Even if it's us coming on to talk about, I don't know, God of War or something. Who knows?
Nope, Insane Trilogy.
Well, yeah, I was actually going to say that. Keith and I will be here for Insane Trilogy. I don't know about you, Josh.
I'll try and hop on for that, depending on what day it is, but I'll try.
So we'll be back.
Did you go play it yet? Did you go try it?
No, I went to 4 stores and none of them had. One had a PlayStation kiosk and it wasn't working.
Wow.
And then the rest don't have PlayStation kiosks. So maybe tomorrow I'm going out again to different places. So if I can get my hands on it, that would be awesome. Josh, tell them everywhere they can find you, everything you're doing.
Well,
ways to contact you.
You guys can find me on Twitter at JCLexicon, and that's pretty much it. I'm not really super active on a ton of other social medias. I guess if you want to head around the Rock Band subreddit, I'm also on there with the same username. I'm on the Rock Band forums, Wooden Glory, and I make a lot of puns, and people seem to like them.
Most important part is, when do you go to A&C Games so they can come in and give you a hug? That's the real most important.
I was going to when they closed A&C World a few weeks ago, but I had to finish up school stuff. Sometime this summer, I will go back to A&C Games because I feel bad I let him down twice already because I had to withdraw due to school stuff. But hopefully during the summer, if stuff doesn't flare up again, I will try and go and meet people and actually meet PNG in person for real this time.
Keith?
You guys can find me at KDoll08 pretty much everywhere. Twitter, PlayStation Network, Xbox, Switch, technically, although you'd need my friend code, I suppose. But yeah, find me there. Send stuff. It's been a lot of fun doing this over the last year. And we'll see you guys again soon. Come find me in Hot Shots. I'm on there all the time.
He is. He's on there a little too much, if you ask me.
Yeah. If you guys stick around, I want to talk to you two about something that we may do for this show a little bit as time goes on. But anyway, guys, I'm Dave Moore. You guys know this already. You guys can follow me at dacespace. DACESPACE. Thank you to Anthony, who supported our Patreon.
Always.
Go add him on PSN. Thank you so much for making this show possible. Guys, thank you to everybody in this community. I know that Jackie's a patron and a listener of this show as well, and I'm sure there's other patrons who are also listeners of the show. Guys, reach out to us. We're not going away. Guys can listen to my other show, Sheldon Forgotten, for all the latest updates. Guys, we're changing Dayspace really big here, coming really soon. I know that sounds like a big, ha ha, la 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 la, something changing, but I mean it. Seriously, big things are coming, and you guys are going to enjoy this. You guys are part of this community as well. So go over there, go to dacespace.com. And I will see you guys on Character Crunch, Shall the Forgotten. And
Can I close it out with one last joke?
yes, of course you can.
Well, closing time. One last call for rhythm games. So finish your FC or Gold Star. Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Good night, everybody.
Oh, why did our music not play? Like it always does it. Dun, 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 dun. Bye, guys.
Bye,
see you guys
everybody.
again soon. Bye.
Thanks for fun.
See you in the future.